Thought forms are energetic structures created by a person's thoughts, emotions, and intentions. This concept is associated with occultism, esotericism, and metaphysics. According to these theories, every thought or intense emotion generates an energetic form within a person's aura or etheric field. 2. Thought forms can be temporary or permanent, depending on the intensity and frequency of the thought that created them. When multiple thoughts converge around a common theme, e.g., within a group of people, the thought form can be strengthened and gain greater power. Some esoteric traditions claim that thought forms can influence reality, attract events, or create corresponding situations in a person's life. In theosophy and esotericism, thought forms are believed to have shape, color, and vibration, depending on the quality of the thought that created them, e.g., a positive thought produces bright and harmonious thought forms, whereas a negative thought creates dark and chaotic ones. How is a thought form created? A thought form is formed through the process of mental concentration and emotional charge. The key elements that contribute to its creation are 1. Thought and intention. When someone intensely focuses on an image, an emotion, or an idea, it begins to take energetic form. 2. Emotion. The stronger the emotion accompanying the thought, the more powerful the thought form becomes. 2. Emotions act as fuel that gives strength and life to the thought. Repetition. Repeated thoughts or ritualistic actions reinforce the thought form, making it more stable within the energetic field. Symbolism and imagery. Thought forms often take on symbolic shapes, e.g., an image or entity, and are projected into the astral or etheric plane. Resonance with the field. When a thought form becomes strong enough, it can attract similar energies from the collective unconscious or influence the circumstances surrounding its creator. Example: if someone constantly thinks about fear or failure, they create a negative thought form, which can gradually affect their psychology or even manifest as real-life events. On the other hand, a positive thought form, joy, confidence, happiness, success, can strengthen and uplift its creator. How can a thought form be perceived? Thought forms are not always visible to the naked eye, but they can be sensed or perceived in various ways. Intuitive feeling. Some people sense energetic presences, a shift in atmosphere, or an unexplainable heaviness in specific locations. Psychic visions. Individuals with developed clairvoyance may see them as luminous, dark, or colored shapes in the energetic field. Emotional influence. A strong thought form can cause sudden mood shifts or trigger specific thoughts that seem to appear out of nowhere. Coincidences and synchronicities. If a thought form is highly charged, one might start noticing events or situations related to it, as if it is magnetizing circumstances. 5. Energetic imprint on objects or spaces. Thought forms can leave energetic imprints on places or objects, something that sensitive individuals might be able to detect. Can we consciously create thought forms for positive purposes? Yes. Instead of allowing our thoughts to create random thought forms, we can consciously direct them toward positive outcomes. This can be achieved through visualization, positive intention, and energetic work. Some uses of positive thought forms: protection, creating an energetic shield around ourselves or our home. Goal enhancement, e.g., success, health, abundance. Helping others, sending positive energy to loved ones. Cleansing spaces from negative influences. Conclusion. Thought forms are living energetic structures created by the power of thought and emotion. When we become aware of their influence, we can harness their power to change our reality and bring positive transformations into our lives. There are numerous accounts of encounters with thought forms, both in antiquity and in modern times. Depending on their interpretation, these appearances could be considered energetic entities, creations of the collective unconscious, or manifestations of conscious or unconscious thought forms. Thought forms in antiquity. Theophanies in ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, there were many accounts of appearances of gods and spiritual entities. In several cases, these beings could be interpreted as thought forms created by the collective belief of the people. During the Eleusinian Mysteries, initiates reported seeing visions or luminous forms related to the goddess Demeter and Persephone. Some historians and mystics believe that these manifestations were thought forms generated by the concentration of faith and ritual energy. 2. Imaginary entities in Roman and medieval traditions. The Roman historian Livy, 59 BC, 17 AD, documented that soldiers had visions of gods before major battles. In the Middle Ages, monks and mystics reported encounters with angelic or demonic entities, which could have been thought forms born from fear or intense belief. Thought forms in the modern era. 3. The Philip experiment, a scientific attempt to create a thought form. In 1972, a group of researchers in Canada decided to test whether they could create an artificial thought form using the power of their collective focus. What did they do? 1. They invented a fictional character named Philip Aylesford and gave him a life story. 2. They began holding seances, attempting to communicate with him. After months of focused intention, they observed paranormal phenomena, such as knocking sounds, object movements, and even responses through a seance table. Conclusion. The scientists concluded that Philip's thought form was created through the power of the group's collective mind. 4. The tulpas of Tibet. In Tibetan tradition, there is the concept of tulpa, a consciously created thought form that can take physical form in the real world. The explorer Alexandra David Néel, 1929, claimed that she had created a tulpa in the form of a monk, which became so real that it began acting independently, forcing her to perform meditation to dissolve it. 5. Modern reports and urban legends. Many stories of ghosts seem to be thought forms created by intense emotions or traumatic events. Some paranormal researchers suggest that highly anticipated UFOs and certain shadow people sightings might be thought forms generated by human fear or belief. Conclusion. From antiquity to the present day, thought forms appear to have played a role in human experiences. Some are consciously created, such as tulpas, while others seem to arise spontaneously from intense emotions, collective belief, or ritual practices. Modern science has not yet fully explained these phenomena, but the Philip experiment demonstrates that thoughts may have an unexpected power over reality. Distinguishing whether you are communicating with a thought form, an actual spirit entity, or a divine presence can be difficult, but there are specific signs that can help guide you. The differentiation is based on the origin, behavior, interaction, and duration of the presence of this entity. How to recognize if it is a thought form? Thought forms have distinct characteristics that set them apart from other spiritual beings. 1. Lack of independent intelligence. Thought forms are creations of the mind and often function in a limited way. If they repeat phrases, behave like an echo of your thoughts, or fail to respond independently, they are most likely thought forms. 2. Easy to control or dissolve. 1. If you focus on ignoring it or altering its form, and you succeed, then it is likely a thought form. 2. True entities do not dissolve so easily. 3. Presence only when you think about it. 1. If an entity only appears when you call upon it and disappears when you stop thinking about it, there is a high chance that it is a thought form. 4. Reflects your fears or desires. 1. Thought forms often take the shape of what you fear or desire most. If the entity only knows what you believe, this is a sign that you have created it. 5. Does not affect other people. 1. If only you can perceive it, and no one else experiences the same thing, then it is probably a thought form. Real entities can be perceived by multiple people simultaneously. On the other hand, if it is a real spirit or ghost, if it is not a thought form but rather a spirit or ghostly presence, then it likely has independent behavior. It does not seem to rely on your thoughts, affects the environment, moves objects, creates sounds, or causes temperature changes, is perceived by other people. It is not just in your mind, has memories or knowledge beyond your own. If it tells you something you did not know, and it turns out to be true, then it is probably not a thought form. If it is a deity or higher entity, a divine presence or higher entity usually inspires awe and positive energy. It does not create fear but deep serenity, does not depend on your thoughts. It is a presence that simply is independent of you, conveys knowledge or guidance, often provides insightful information for your spiritual growth, is connected to the divine. It generates a sense of love, enlightenment, and harmony. Conclusion: how to test it. 1. Observe the entity's behavior. Does it show independence, or is it predictable and dependent on you? Try to ignore or change it. If it easily changes or disappears, it is most likely a thought form. 3. Ask it to tell you something you don't know. If it reveals verifiable new information, it is probably not a thought form. See if it affects other people. If only you experience it, there is a high probability that it is a thought form. 5. Meditate and reflect. Your intuition often holds the answer. Thought forms serve as an indirect yet powerful proof that humans possess the ability to create entities, even in an energetic or non-physical form. This implies that our thoughts are not just ideas, but they can take on life and exert influence. We are co-creators of our reality, as our minds have the capacity to generate energetic beings that can interact with us. Stronger the intention and belief, the more stable a thought form becomes, which explains why deities, myths, and doctrines have persisted for centuries. This phenomenon can also occur on a collective level, meaning that groups of people can collectively create energetic entities through shared belief, such as deities, angels, or even urban legends. In other words, humanity seems to have a divine ability to create, even beyond the material world. Think about this. If we unconsciously create entities through thought, what could we achieve if we did it consciously? Could we create beneficial energetic beings? Could we manifest our desires more directly? Could we channel the power of our minds with precision? Our potential might be limitless, if only we learn to understand and control it. If humans have the power to create entities, then what else can we create? If our thoughts have the ability to generate thought forms and influence reality, then perhaps we can consciously manifest our desires. Instead of allowing our subconscious to create random thought forms, we can direct this power toward what we truly want to achieve. We can alter reality. If many thought forms are created through collective belief, this suggests that we can change events, circumstances, or even the future by consciously focusing our energy. We can create helpful energetic entities, egregores. Some traditions believe that we can intentionally create protective thought forms to guide or safeguard us. We can evolve our consciousness. If thought has such power, then perhaps human evolution is not just biological, but also deeply connected to how we use our minds. So, are we the real gods of our reality? If we accept that humans can create energetic forms that take on existence, then this is essentially a divine ability. We are not merely observers of the world. We are co-creators of it. Does this mean that the universe operates through consciousness rather than just matter? Could the world around us be a reflection of our thoughts? And if we change them, we change reality. Is magic simply the understanding of how to use our consciousness correctly? The question remains. If we truly have this power, how can we use it consciously to improve our lives and the world?